Hi, my name is Brian Jacob. I am 57 and a half, almost 58 years old. I have 4 sons, Ryan, who's 34, Matthew, who's 33, John, who's 29, and Brian, who is 24. And Brian is a special needs child. He has Down syndrome, and he's a beautiful person. He's a beautiful human being. I have been married for 30 years in a month. And in 1 month, we'll be married 30 years to my beautiful wife, Debbie. And she's been a wonderful wife, and we have a good life together. I have a good relationship with all my children. I mean, they're, you know, my oldest son, he's a working guy. He works a lot of hours. He's married. He lives in Sloan, right down the way here, and he's a good man. And my second son, Matthew, is married, and we have a grandchild, 2 grandchildren through him, Finnegan and Declan, and they're beautiful, and it's a lot of fun having a grandkid, and I'm enjoying playing with those guys, and that's going well. And my third son, John, and his girlfriend, Megan, are also great. They work hard. They're great people, and that's where they're at. And then there's Brian, and Brian lives with us, and he goes to a program in Lockport every day, and they go out and they work, and they do things in the community, and he loves it. He loves it. It's great. When we have free time, we kayak. Brian has his own kayak, and he's a really good kayaker. We just learned, we stay off the lake, because the one time we went on the lake and he went straight out to the break wall and got lodged in it, and then I had to drag him out, and it was pretty crazy experience. But so we stay in, like, we go in Tonawanda Creek, Ellicott Creek, and he's a real good kayaker. He gets around, and he loves to swing. So we'll go to the park, and Brian will swing, and my wife will ride her bike, and we'll have some chill time at the park. That's what we do at our free time, but we do a lot of work with the Special Olympics and with other organizations, and Brian does bowling, track and field, swimming, golf. We've done football. We used to do stuff almost every day of the week. We were so busy. And he also has a piano teacher, and he's learning to play the piano, and he loves music. He loves music, and we do music together. We make videos together, me and Brian. I've spent more time with Brian than probably anyone else in the planet Earth. Me and him do big hours together. So, and he's a ride. He's adorable. He's fun. You know, we argue a lot too, but that's fun too. We have we bicker, but we're together all the time. I drive him to and from his program, then we're home, we're hanging around, we go to all these things together. So, you know, we have a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to mess with and to do things with. Well, the older 3, we had so much going on because my second son has juvenile diabetes. So he was a handful too. And and one thing I recommend is not to work too much, because I worked 3rd shift and my wife worked 1st shift, and I was working 50 some hours a week and she was working a full job, and it was very hard to manage those children. And if you can find a way to do it without working that much, it's a good thing, because we worked a little too much, and it was, you know, because I'd get home from work and I'd sleep for a little while, and then I would have to get up and right away, and then I was coaching the kids' teams and taking them to their ball games and practices, and we were too busy. I think we were too busy, and I kind of wish it could have slowed down, you know, because I had 3 boys that were out doing stuff all the time, and then Brian was constant care, so he was a 24/7 care guy, and it was a grind, but it's great. But Brian, after they all moved out, and it was just us and Brian, it was like a whole different life started with me and my wife and Brian, because the older boys all went on with their lives, and it's wonderful. He's such a blessing. He's such a blessing. I mean, he thinks about others. He's kind. He's compassionate. He's caring. He likes to do things. He knows if I'm having a bad day, he'll try to cheer me up. You know, he's a great little guy, and he's wonderful. So raising him, though, he is. You log a lot of hours. Like, I have to take care of him all the time, and no matter where I am, he's on my mind. That's the one thing that makes it difficult, is other people can just, you know, walk around like at church. They just walk around fancy free, talk to whoever they want. I can do that, but I have a third eye on Brian at all times, because I have to keep an eye on him, you know. And it's just the way it is, and anyone who has a special kid kind of knows that. I enjoy being a grandfather. I love it. It's fun to go visit the grandkids and play with them. And, you know, I'm still healthy, so I can roughhouse with them and have fun. And then my older sons, we're all friends now. You know, we do things together, we laugh, we're all grown-ups, and I love that I can go see my sons or talk to my sons, and they're not looking at me like I'm the heavy. You know, they look at me like I'm their friend now, and I love that. And Brian's my constant companion, and again, I love being with Brian. I love going places with him and doing things. We go camping, we go everywhere. We've been to every Finger Lake, we've been to all sorts of places. We golf. Brian's a good golfer. He's getting better. He'll be better than me, I think, eventually, because he hits the ball straight. I can't do that. He hits the ball straight. Kids need fathers. I mean, boys need a dad, because they need someone to look at as an example, and someone to show them. I mean, it's almost like, you know, when they're little, you kind of represent authority to them, or that it's God-appointed men to kind of be an authority of the family, because the children need someone to look at that way, especially boys, because they'll get out of hand, you know. Because when they were younger, like, the kids would get out of hand, and my wife was like, don't hit them, or don't. And I'd be like, I'm not gonna hit them, but you gotta discipline them, you know. Because the women want to be soft on them, and they don't. When you're a guy, you realize with other guys, you gotta lay down the law, or they'll run all over you. So, so with the older ones, I had to do a lot of that, and girls need fathers, because they need someone to hug and love them, so that they don't go to the wrong place for that love or anything. They need a dad that they can turn to and talk to, and hug and stuff, so that they make better decisions, and they know that they're taken care of. Because a lot of people grow up without fathers, and a lot of people grow up in disjointed families, and they need, I think, a lot of men and women, if they were told that somebody cared about them, and that they were loved, and that if they make good decisions, good things can happen, and if they work hard and do the right thing, things will work out in the end. You know, God will help you with that. You make good decisions, and God will help you with that. But the community-based organizations can bring people into their lives who've experienced being a son and a father, and they can help show them, look, you know, you don't have to freak out about this or about that, because there's other ways to deal with things. And that's how I feel about it. The community-based organization can bring people into their lives who can help them with that. I would say Brian, of humans on planet Earth, Brian has probably been the biggest blessing in my life. He probably saved my marriage. He helped our family immensely. I've learned more from being Brian's father than from anyone else on this earth. Because you have to be patient, you have to be kind, you have to be paying attention, you have to be sober-minded and vigilant. All those things that God expects us to be, you kind of have no choice. You got to be nice. I mean, in my wife's case, she's a very driven, hard-working person, and Brian caused her to slow down. She had to slow down because Brian will sit. When he was little, he would just sit. And she'd be like, come on. And he's like, no. So he slowed her down too. And she's a better person because of being Brian's parent also. So I would say having a special needs kid will make you a much better person than you would have been without one. And that's how I feel about it.